I know it's dark because it's 5 a.m., but I wanted to capture my first impressions of this thing before I drive it a second time. So I just flew from Tucson to Boise to buy this Honda Fit 2007 5-speed manual transmission. I had to have this color, that's why I flew out. Really the closest one of any color was San Diego or Colorado, so I didn't have much choice. And I bought this for $6,149 out the door. It has 158,000 miles. The body is in excellent shape. There are a couple small dings, cosmetic issues with the car, but I would say 99% perfect by my standards. Everything's mechanically been checked out by a Honda specialist who works with Japanese cars in the Boise area. Had them do a pre-purchase inspection, so everything's good there. And I'll just make this quick because I need to get on the road to Vegas before long. And this is the best car I've ever driven. Well, maybe the most fun car. I'll say I heard online a lot of information about this not being a good road trip car. And what I'll say, someone was coming out into the shop. What I'll say is that it's absolutely true what they say about it. I have mild lower back pain. I'm only 25, but I sit in an office chair all day, and I go to the chiropractor because I don't want to deal with that. And the first 4 hours in this car were totally fine. I kept thinking to myself, wow, this is no worse than my 4Runner. I have a 2016 4Runner that is an excellent road trip car, and a 2008 Honda Odyssey, which looks very similar to this, but bigger. That is also an excellent road trip car. I've driven those from Portland to San Diego, both of them multiple times with 12-hour stretches of straight driving, and I would say those are both well suited for 12 hours of straight driving. As a driver, I'm not sure about a passenger because I mostly drive, but I'm sure it's better. And this car, I would say I could not drive more than 4 hours comfortably. I want to give this the benefit of the doubt because I was in a cramped plane seat for 5 hours. Well, 2 hours and then 1 hour from Tucson to Boise. So my back and arms and legs were already hurting from that. But about 4 hours into this drive, I was really hurting my back, my butt, my lower back, my mid back, my upper back. My arms were getting a little tired. There's no armrest, and my feet especially were killing me because there's not much space down there. It is a smaller car. I've driven a car that's just this small, a 1975 BMW 2002, which has almost identical specs, interestingly. Wheelbase, tire size, horsepower, transmission, etc. Very similar car, interior space. And the seats in that car were, 50 years old. These are not 50 years old. These are 13, 16 years old. And I had to adjust it several different times to get comfortable, and it would only be comfortable for about 5 minutes, and that's after the 4 hours of straight driving. Now I'm gonna drive 10 hours today, another 700 miles, and I'm kind of dreading it, honestly, even though I'm young and whatever. But I got in like 30 minutes of stretching, a nice hot shower this morning. Hopefully that loosens me up. But my calves were the tightest they've ever been to driving this car. A couple other first impression gotchas are this car is extremely fun, has plenty of power to pass with the manual transmission. I can drop into the 4th gear and pass a regular car or a semi-truck going 80 miles an hour, and to pass them I'd have to go like 100. That's very easy, very safe. I have no problems with this car in terms of power. It's just enough for my needs, and still fun, just like my old BMW. Now Two features that I miss are a proper dead pedal. It's really not a big deal, but I think that would have helped my leg a little bit. There is a mound you can put your foot on, but other than that, not too bad. Secondly, there is no armrest, which wasn't a big deal at first, but after 4 hours, I was kind of wishing I had an armrest. I'm used to a big center console in my 4Runner. Another feature I miss is the volume buttons on the steering wheel. I never thought I would say that, but it is kind of nice. There's cruise control on the steering wheel on the Sport model, which is super nice. I can count on one hand how many times I've used cruise control in my life. And it was extremely helpful in this car because of how uncomfortable it was. It let me pop cruise control on, move and stretch my legs a little bit, and just get more comfortable. And back to the volume control, it's a huge knob on the center, so it's not really a big deal. It's more of a nitpick. Other than that, I was gonna get the full fit experience and sleep in this thing, but after my body was feeling, I just booked a $75 hotel in Ely, Nevada. Look it up, it's a real town north of Vegas. And yeah, we'll see what my second impressions are. We're right around 35, between 35 and 37, I think, MPG. I haven't done the calculations on more than one tank of gas, but that's pretty good for mostly fifth gear driving. And like, I probably made 20 or 30 passes yesterday at around 80 to 90 miles per hour or so. These roads are pretty nice. One fear I had was the road noise of this car. Some reviews talk about the road noise being an issue. It's really not. I have off-road tires. Well, I have BF Goodrich KO2s. They're about 32, 33 inches on my 4Runner, and that, I would say, is comparable to this car. And those are not super aggressive off-road tires by any means. They're very practical for road use, especially rough road conditions, while also allowing you to go four-wheel pretty effectively. And I would say that's no worse than this. People have said it's a little stiff and can wear on you. I definitely feel the bumps, but with my old BMW, I want to say those have 13 or 14 inch rims. These are 15 inch. The sidewall is definitely not as large as my BMW ones. I want to say it's maybe an inch shorter. It's only about the height of my thumb, but so far so good. I don't think I have any other issues with the car in general. I know this is a long first impression video, so we'll see. We'll get the second impression video in like 10 hours or wherever I stop. Well, I'm not gonna be able to get better light, but I gotta say, it's an excellent car. I just detailed it inside and out upon arriving to Tucson, and I'm very proud owner of the Fit, the Honda Fit. At the end of the day, I wish you could adjust the seat up and down. That's one thing I do miss. The best upgrade I could probably do to this car would be a better seat. I'm gonna put on vent shades like are on my other cars. Lets you crack the window in this hot Arizona weather without letting rain in, because we do get summer rain. Need to get this Lumar Stratos tint over here as well, which helps with the heat. I've heard a lot of complaints about the AC in this car. I drove through northern Arizona to Phoenix to Tucson. It's about 95 degrees, which isn't as hot as it gets. And I had the AC on just about the whole time on level 3, and it was more than enough. So, pretty happy with that. And I'll keep this updated as I get more involved in the Fit. I'm able to sit up high, and in this I'd rather sit up a little higher. The problem is you can't really do that because there's no adjustment. Let me get the better light in here. All right, here's the second video about the Honda Fit, my not first impression but second impression. And I gotta say, I think I misjudged it originally on the comfort level. I said that this Odyssey here, which is from 2008, so both very similar cars, somewhat. Now, this Odyssey here, we've driven 12-hour stretches, no problem. The Fit, I said, could probably only handle 4. I just drove it 8 hours straight from Ely, Nevada to Vegas to Tucson. I gotta say, it can do a little bit more than 4. I think what happened was I was on the plane, cramped in a seat for too long, and it led to just a bad experience in the Fit. Now, one thing I did do was put a pillow for lumbar support, because this seat is still not as comfortable as the Odyssey or the 4Runner for that matter. It's really still bad. The 4Runner I like. All right, I've got to leave the car running because I'm trying to get the emissions to pass, and I needed smog to activate. But you just saw me drive the Honda Fit for about a minute through some country back roads, and I gotta say, this is the most fun car I've ever driven. And that's with plenty of experience with Porsche, BMW, several other Hondas. I was a valet after all, so I've driven just about every car they've made. Did that for a couple years, and have had experience with older stick shift, newer stick shift. This Honda manual gearbox is great. It leaves nothing to be desired. It is just everything I'd like out of a little car. The short wheelbase really comes into play. In the cornering, I can turn on a dime, or maybe what's smaller than a dime, half a dime. The 15-inch rims on the sport model of this year are an inch smaller than all the newer sport models, and they're fine. You get a little bit of feedback from the road, all the little bumps and such. But other than that, it's a decently comfortable ride. My leg hurts after driving for about 45 minutes. It's because I like to sit up higher and the seat can adjust higher. But man, I guess this is like my third impression video. I'm just having fun with this thing. It's great. And it feels like you're going fast when you're going 70 because there's so little power here. And that's not to say that the car can't handle 100. It does feel fine around that speed. Not like it's gonna fall apart or anything. So it just still feels fast at 70 because it's, I don't know, it's great. Well, I'm gonna get finished with this emissions testing. So far, so good for the Honda Fit. If I can just wax this thing, I don't want to get much dirt in here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, back on the road.